Alright, let's get this over with. Why hello there everyone. It's definitely been a while, hasn't it? So, what am I doing here playing this game? Well, that is not really the topic of today's video, because there is other things I want to talk about. Let's start off with the big thing. Well, not necessarily the big thing, but one of the things. So, where was I? I had stated in my post that I'm coming back and making content, but where is that content? I don't know. But in all seriousness, I just didn't have the time. Like I've stated in my goodbye video, I am still occupied with school. However, it is the last quarter, so I'm hoping for the summer I'm able to put out at least a couple videos. Oh, crap. Okay. Hold up, this is gonna need a break for a bit. There we go. Anyways, for the reason why I was absent for a bit was mostly because of school and that, but I think it's finally time I address something that I have been working on dearly for much as I can in my free time. So, let me break this down for you. This here has been a project that I have been working on for the past 5 months or so. Skip. There we go. Anyways, this project of mine has been in concept and development hell, I can say. Mostly because of half of the time it's Roblox screwing us over with terrible updates that has heavily restricted of what we can do. If you guys haven't heard the news yet and are just strangely out of the loop of things on Roblox recently, they made it where you need to verify an ID and apply for Roblox Plus in order to share your games to everyone. Now, normally this is common practice with most places, like Steam and that. Like, all of them require for you, at least most of them require you to verify an ID. However, here's the thing. It's usually only a one-time payment. Now, you can get the smallest level of the subscription and still be fine, but yeah, the fact that you need a subscription for it is not that ideal. But that is not what this video is about. Not by a long shot. Anyway, this is a project I've been working on. Well, not the game I'm playing, it's just something I found recently and I just decided to keep playing it while I just talk about this. Anyways, the first thing I want to talk about is mostly the history of this project. So, for those who don't really know, which I don't blame you if you are only finding out about this until if you're only finding out about this now. Is I'm a big fan of Murdertrons. Like, out of everyone in the friend group, out of everyone, I am one of the biggest fans there. But anyway, how does this get into the whole thing with my game? Well, this project of mine is solely based on Murdertrons, which, yeah, I have lots of passion for ASIM games and passion for Murdertrons, and seeing the lack of actually fun and engaging Murdertrons games outside of role-playing games, role-plays, I decided to take things in my own hands. However, before that, we're gonna have to go back to the time where Forsaken had the idea, where there was a Forsaken concept of a Noli skin, which has Sin as a skin. Now, me and the others were really excited about this. However, the devs confirmed that wasn't going to get added. Which honestly can be understandable why. It's like it. However, there was a lot of demand for it, but they did end up trying to make something like this in the form of a Cool Kit skin that, in my opinion, honestly is better than the one that we could have gotten. However, if you don't already know, that one ended up getting canned with some drama one of the devs have gone into. Not that shocking. Which basically just canned the entire skin and probably is not going to get picked up again. So, that was basically it for us. I was like, now I had this idea before. I just didn't know when it was the time to start working on it, because once again I'm quite busy with school and stuff, but with the news of another Murdertrons skin being canned by the Forsaken devs, I think it was finally time for us to basically take things into our own hands. And so, I started coming up with ideas for a Murdertrons based ASIM game. I had called up a friend of mine, which is United. You may or may not know him. He has his own channel, which is actually bigger than mine now, but he's a nice fellow. But yeah, we ended up chatting with each other about like some ideas for the game, and these ideas were quite great, to be honest. They weren't the most perfect thing, but it gets the job done. So, right as around the time that around the time, I think it was October, the Murdertrons music video released I'm not sure if it was actually October when it released, I think so, but it was around the time when the music video released, and that was basically when we started the music for the game. So then after that, I came up with some demo tracks just so that we could get the feel for what the game would have the feeling of. And I have actually been trying to make games before, but most of them just came out to be just mostly low effort hobbies. But oh my frames. But anyways, when I was working on one of the tracks, Roblox had officially released the age check update. It was back in late January when we started working on the game, like actually fully working on it, and yeah. I'm not sure if I win this spot. Never lost. Whatever, I'll just revive. Not plenty. Anyway, as the H-check update rolled out, and that basically ruined a bunch of our plans for this. However, that was only the first step that came in. It was just like the first domino that fell. When oh Jesus. Anyway. This game ended up being one of my biggest projects yet, which I am honestly proud of for where it's at. And if I'm right, we don't really have a planned release date for this yet, because, like, it's not even playable. But, yeah. Anyways, I feel like that. Okay, yeah. Anyways, there is something I do want to talk about. I would just stand here. Alright, so the first thing I want to say is that now for a while, wait, where was I again? Right, yeah. So I was the age check update released, and as expected, a whole lot of people hated it. Which honestly, I do as well. I'd say it's the worst update that Roblox had put out. But here's the thing. This basically didn't allow us to, well, work on the game for a bit, but we still worked on the music, and we ended up getting a bit more people within our friend group to help out with the game, but it was nowhere near close to actually being a fully sought after game. But I eventually stumbled across the first of our many roadblocks. That first roadblock was Roblox. There's a rumor that Roblox is going to be limiting collaborations with other players. And what we thought Roblox was going to do was that they are just going to limit of what people you can collaborate with, depending on the sorry about that. Depending on what age group that you're in. So I got placed in the 16 plus age group, while United at the time was placed in the under 9 age group at the time this happened. And would you know it? It happened. Roblox basically did a huge fuck you to the community, which essentially threw a wrench at plans for this entire game. However, that didn't stop us from working on it still. Now, one of the first roadblocks that we saw was the fact that you need to verify an ID to publish music over 10 seconds. Now, this would be a shitty ASIM if it just used Roblox's audio library for their themes. And since none of us in the friend group has a verified ID, at least at the time that this was noticed as an issue, which was essentially basically 5 months ago, like at the start of the year. But yeah, there's that issue. So for now, we just made some more music in that. Then we ended up. Then we actually started to design the map. The first and only map for the game, which was based on the Colony Bunker from the show, where it had most of the key locations built in with it. Obviously scaled down for obvious reasons. However, I then started to conceptualize some moveset ideas for the characters. Now, for what we have planned for the release, I cannot really say yet. Mostly because, one, it's most definitely subject to change, and also, two, I'm just want to keep it a secret for now, but yeah. Anyways, on to the next part, which involves a certain group member. Now, originally I was going to do a whole thing where I was going to basically okay, so I was originally going to do a series where I was going to talk about my history with this friend group, but like I said, got busy with school again, and yeah. Now, sorry, I'm just a bit tired. It's like 12:30 in the morning right now. But anyway, here's what I wanted to talk about in the first place. So there was a member in our friend group known as Guest. Now, not a lot of you know about this, but my friends hate Guest. Because he often acts like he is, let's just say, quite vocal about things, and he wants them done a specific way, more likely his way, and he gets really attached to me because I'm one of the only ones who listened to him before, but I no longer do for obvious reasons I'm going to get to. Anyways, he originally was going to be a tester for the game. However, he then decided to do some very stupid things, and basically we had enough of the shenanigans, and he got booted. Why did he get booted? Well, he threatened to leak the server that our friend group usually talks in, so he immediately got the ban hammer, and we haven't talked to him since. But besides that, yeah. So we may have lost a tester, but it was for a good reason. Anyway, on to the topic of this game. So, after a while, we ended up having a decent amount of the game made. We got a bunch of music done for the game, along with some along with some of the concepts. We also started working on movesets for the characters. And basically, we had an idea where well, we had plenty of ideas for the game, which a lot of them basically just got canned. Mostly because either it would have been quite hard to implement, but also quite difficult to it will also be a bit unbalanced with some of the characters. So I decided to have it mostly be about how Forsaken's gameplay loop usually goes. But anyways, there is something I have to say real quick, which is if you have watched up to this point, one, thank you, and two, although I'm not going to be posting much, but it'll be nice of you to go and subscribe to this channel, because all of my uploading schedule is way off the charts. I do tend to take some time to basically work on some ideas and maybe make them into videos. But anyways, back onto the topic of this video. What happened after that? So this here is when most of today's stuff will come in, and I've decided to have the idea to basically just publish a post onto my channel saying that I have I'm going to be addressing something, which is, well, this video. However, there is something that I forgot to say. So, y'all have been wondering, what is this game I've been working on? What have I been spending a lot of my time working on? Because if you don't know, I have essentially said in my goodbye video that I'm going to be working on a project. And this here was the project. So, what's the game? The game is going to be called Lost Drones. Like I said, it's going to be a murder drones-based ASIM game where you can essentially play as a bunch of the characters from the series, and essentially just like a normal ASIM game, except with a murder drones theme plastered on it. Anyways, there is one last thing I need to say, is that the music that you've all been listening to is, well, is actually the music that's made for this game. And now, for the big thing. Will there be content made for this game on this channel? Not really. However, there'll be a separate channel that is solely dedicated to Lost Drones content that will be managed by all the developers, that work on the game. And now, if you want to stay up to date of essentially the next steps for this project and of where I'm probably going to be taking this within the next couple months or so, feel free to subscribe like I said earlier. But also, although the game is nowhere near ready, I'll be linking it in the description so you guys can turn on favorites for the game and turn on notifications for it so that you'll get essentially basically get notified when the game actually releases. And eventually I'll be releasing a Discord server dedicated to the game that'll be managed by me and the other developers. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say really. But I'm not sure if I had said this yet, but thank you all for 50 subscribers on this channel once again. But yeah, I am deeply sorry for not posting. It's not really in my control, but there is ways I can do this without just becoming burdened to me. But hey, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it'll be nice to see you all when the game releases. I'll obviously be making a video on that for either when we do make huge progress on the game or when it actually releases. However, most of the Lost Drones update stuff, most of the updates on Lost Drones will be published on that channel. Which, yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want, you can subscribe, but you don't have to. And I hope that I can make more videos like this, because although it's not really that entertaining, it is nice to talk about things now and then. So, like I said, I am quite busy with things, but I do hope that we can talk about this more. So, yeah. That'll be it for today's video, and see you guys later. See ya.